Hello, everyone. Thanks for coming in to watch this video. My name is Chloe Thompson. I am the Health and Wellness Intern at Area 10 Agency on Aging at the Enright Center just over the summer. A little bit about my background. I study fitness and wellness at IU, and I also minor in obesity and health. So fitness and exercise and what we do at the Enright Center, a lot of that is what I'm passionate about, and I'm excited to be sharing a little bit about it with you today. So a lot of the information that I'm sharing with you all is based on things that I have learned throughout my time at IU. I'm about to go into my senior year, and some of it also comes from research that I did for this lecture, coming from places like the American Council on Exercise, American Health Association, or Heart Association, or the CDC. So these are the information you're getting is coming from reliable sources. So we're going to go over exercise versus physical activity. If you are confused on how those are different, you will soon find out. So to define these, physical activity is movement that's carried out by your skeletal muscles that requires energy. So this is any movement one does, essentially is physical activity. So if I'm washing my dishes, if I'm going on a run, if I am walking out to my car, if I'm gardening, all of these things are considered physical activity. Anything I'm doing in my day, moving my muscles around, even fidgeting could be considered physical activity. Exercise, on the other hand, is planned, structured, and repetitive intentional movement intended to improve or maintain physical fitness. So exercise is technically a subcategory of physical activity. So if I'm going on a leisurely stroll, going on a walk, not really just walking for fun, that's physical activity. If I am going on a 20-minute run to improve my fitness, then that's exercise. It's something that you do very intentionally for your fitness. So I hope that that's beginning to make a little bit of sense to you. Let's go over really quick, how much exercise should you be getting? So right now we're talking about exercise rather than physical activity. The CDC recommends that all adults, including older individuals, obtain 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic activity each week, or as much as your abilities and conditions allow. So getting up to that amount, whatever you can do is going to be really great. Then you should also be getting at least 2 days a week of muscle strengthening activities. So things where we're working on our muscles. If you're coming to balance classes, the exercises where we're using resistance bands, that would qualify there. And then as older individuals, you should also be doing activities to improve your balance so that your risk of falls are minimized. So this picture is going to kind of help you understand why physical activity is so important. So let's start with Anne at the bottom. You see Anne is sitting all throughout her day. She's sitting in the morning, she drives, she's sitting some more, and her day kind of goes on like that. And then you have Mike, who is sitting most of his day, but in the middle of his day, he has obviously some planned exercise in the green. And then over in the yellow, he's walking, he's getting ready for the day, he's being physically active. And his risk for cancer is a little bit lower than Anne's because he is moving around a little bit and he's exercising. Then moving up to Kim. Kim works out in the beginning of her day in that green bar. And then throughout her day, she's moving, walking around, maybe doing some chores. So you see that her cancer risk is even lower than Mike's because she has more physical activity. She's exercising just as much, but because she's more physically active, she's walking and standing more, that cancer risk is lower. And then finally moving all the way up to Joe. He also has planned exercise at the end of his day in the green. And then all throughout his day, from morning till night, basically, he is up, moving around, walking. Who knows what he's doing? But the point is he's standing and being physically active. So that means that with his combined use of exercise and a lot of physical activity, his cancer risk is going to be the lowest among all 4 people. So kind of thinking about why physically inactive people suffer, let's take a look at this quote from the Mayo Clinic. It came from a study of about 13 studies of analysis, where it found that those who sat for more than 8 hours a day with no physical activity had a risk of dying similar to the risks of dying posed by obesity and smoking. I think that this is huge because obesity and smoking are obviously huge topics of concern in health. Obesity can help lead to cardiovascular disease, heart disease, which is the leading cause of death in the United States. And smoking contributes to lung cancer, which is pretty up there as well in terms of leading causes of death. So you see that sitting can be just as dangerous as these other health hazards. So compared with inactive people, people that are physically active have a 21% decreased risk of CVD incidence. That means cardiovascular disease, heart disease, and they have a 36% decreased risk of dying from heart disease. So you can see that being physically active, walking around the day a lot and getting exercise, but most importantly, standing up, moving around, that's going to give you some huge health benefits. More health benefits that come from being physically active include decreased risk of other cancers and death from those cancers, and death from any cause, improved bone, brain, and mental health, and better physical function, sleep, and quality of life. And a lot of those come from being involved in a lot of exercise, but being physically active might be a little bit easier sometimes than exercising, and obviously it holds huge benefits to your health. If you're exercising as well and being very physically active, you will sleep better, you'll feel more energized. You have all of these long-term benefits of being physically active and exercising a lot, as well as those those would be like the short-term benefits, like sleeping and feeling more energized, that are more important to focus on in the moment rather than thinking, well, in the future I might not have heart disease. Of course that's important, but if we're thinking in the moment, I just enjoy this, it makes me feel good, I'm going to sleep good tonight, then that might be a motivator that helps you be physically active in the moment. So let's think about ways that we can be more physically active. First of all, most importantly, we want to make it fun and easy. So when I say make it fun, maybe you enjoy spending time with your friends. So maybe you plan a weekly outing, or maybe more than that even, where you and your friends go on a walk, or, maybe you're going out to lunch and then afterwards you go on a little walk together, things like that. And then to make it easy, you might, let's say, place your dog leash out on the counter so that you remember to take your dog on a walk with you, getting in physical activity like that. So placing those little reminders around your home, maybe your sneakers to go on a walk, those things will be cues to then go and be physically active. Next up, you might, when you're running errands or wherever it is you're going to, you might try parking further away. That'll just give you a few more steps in your day, as well as getting off the bus early or getting on at a later stop so that you can walk some more. Next, you can try walking while you're on your phone instead of just sitting in one place. So that's something else that you could do. You could also, if you have a pet, again, go on a longer route with them. So instead of going on the usual route that you normally do, which is fine, it's totally great. Maybe you want to try something new and you go on that longer route. And then if you're able to, you can try taking the stairs instead of an elevator whenever you have the chance. Yeah, finally, try try out more active leisurely events. So maybe you're gardening outside, or you're going on a hike with your friends or your family, going on a bike ride, trying to make these activities fun, instead of maybe watching a movie every night or however often it is that you do. Try going bowling with your family instead of going to see a movie. So I'm trying to come up with ideas here. So I mean, there's plenty of things that you can do all the time. And if you have any questions, I am at the Endurite Center for the whole summer, and all of us are here for you to reach out to. So I hope that this little lecture gives you some insight on how to be more physically active and why it's so important. Other than that, I hope that you have a great rest of your day.